I hate intros.
I'm with you. I hate goodbyes.
Yeah, just like the starting
so-
piece.
I hate intros. So I usually just we're rolling though
Yeah,
now.
no problem.
But I hate intros because I usually just it's kind of the part that you have to be like fake on.
Yeah.
And yeah, I hate being fake, I guess. So, but this is Varsity House Podcast at the original Varsity House in South Bend, Indiana. I got receiver Jordan Faison and quarterback Riley Leonard here on the show. So appreciate you both, joining me today, and I'm excited to talk to you both. It's very interested in both your journeys. Coming from a different school, coming from Duke, transferring here, and then your journey has been unique so far. Walking on, having a lacrosse scholarship, but now having a football scholarship and still winning a national championship in lacrosse. So we'll start with him first because you might be a little tired from the crazy from the crazy school year and calendar year. But Riley, as a former Notre Dame player and captain, love to have you here and excited to see what you can do for us. But how's your journey and how's your first, what was your first impression of South Bend and the reaction that you got from the fans, the community, campus, all those different things?
Yeah, so on my official visit, I got here. It was like the first big impression of like Notre Dame football. You kind of made it. We had to lie to the media outlets about what time my flight was gonna land. That way they didn't like bombard me when I got off the plane. Or at least that's what they told me. So like that was just kind of like my first overall impression of South Bend. I was like, holy cow, like this is like big time media, like national brand type football. But yeah, came here committed. My first overall impressions, I would say, felt like home. I know like that's corny or whatever to say, but like it's like a small community here. You don't really have like fraternities. Like the football team's the fraternity. So I got here and it was kind of like, population of what 8,000 undergrads. It's super easy to fit in. The guys are great. So yeah, my first impressions were like, oh, this is a family type atmosphere and not, it's big on the outside, but once you get in, like, it's super chill.
You don't have to be specific on this answer, but were there any other leaders in terms of during your recruiting or like the transfer process?
Yeah, there were a few others who ended me hitting me up, but like a couple days after I hit the portal, like I was with Notre Dame. I didn't take an official visit to any other school. Notre Dame was my only visit, and I just, I knew I was coming here. Like, why go anywhere else? So yeah, I committed to here, and like here was my first ever visit to any school, unofficial or official. So in high school, I was recruited very late because I didn't develop as a quarterback. 2, I wanted to go play basketball anyway, so I wasn't worried about going to like football schools. And 3, COVID hit right in the timing where I maybe would have gone to some schools, but never stepped foot on any campus. Like even Duke, like I didn't go to any unofficial, official. Coaches never saw me in person. Could have easily lied about my height, weight, just to get recruited. So yeah, being able to get recruited here, I just knew immediately I was.
What was the treatment like too? Because, obviously you didn't experience it, but now you get it to have that treatment of, a flight, best dinner in town, all those different things. What was that like?
Yeah, the coolest part to me, and what easily sold me, was we went out to eat, I think Cafe Navarre downtown, and they brought like 8 to 10 guys, and we had dinner. And after that meal and like that conversation with the fellas, like 100% I knew, like that's what locked me in. Like that night, you see all like the flash and the facilities and the stadium, all great stuff, state of the art, the best of the best. But like the teammates in the football, like the football team that's what sold me for sure.
Yeah, Jordan, your recruiting process was, I'm sure, very different.
Mm-hmm.
You visited campus, but probably for a lacrosse game, right?
Yep.
Lacrosse team meeting those different guys. How was your transition, coming in as a walk-on? And it's unique because when I was here my freshman year, Chris Fink, I'm sure you've heard a bunch of him and probably the comparisons and all those different things, but he was a freshman as well. And when we found, like, through summer training and things like that, when we found out he was a walk-on, we like, yo, this dude's tough. Like, and it was one of those things where it was like, don't get beat by Chris, but he was that good to where it was like, yo, we need to put this dude on scholarship because he's balling out and those different things. But how is like your transition coming in, as a walk-on, and maybe guys in your class or guys that you see in front of you that you might have more talent in, but being a walk-on, being a freshman, you maybe had to take a back seat to initially.
Yeah. So when I first got here, I mean, kind of our class had their whole little group chat with the recruits, and so I wasn't a part of any of that. Me and a fellow walk-on, Luke Towers, kind of came in on our lonesome. And it was kind of different. I mean, like, you see these guys on the internet getting hyped up and all that stuff. Like, everyone knows who they are kind of thing, and you're kind of just walking in with them like, damn, like, no one really knows who I am. So you got to go prove yourself. And it's kind of like what it was like the whole time you got to Notre Dame. Like, you meet obviously the coaches, some of the coaches know you, but, like, some of the guys are like, who is this guy or whatever. And you get out to the field, kind of like the back of the line, like, kind of just trying to fight your way for a couple reps here and there. And I'd say probably fall camp was the chance where I really got to prove myself. I mean, I was able to do like some drills during the summer, kind of show like the athleticism I had. But fall camp, I'd say, really was where it was kind of like the Chris Fink sort of thing, where first practice I go out, beat a couple guys, and go back into the locker room. And like some guys ask like, "Oh, what's your name?" Like scholarship here. I'm like, "Nah, like just to walk on, like here to play lacrosse." And then like lacrosse, like you should be playing football, bro. And kind of throughout that kind of whole thing, the fall is really where I got to turn up. I'd say one of the scrimmages I had in the fall kind of showed what I was able to do. I made like a couple plays like back to back to back, and next day in the field room, coach was telling me, varsity coach at the time was Coach Stuckey, was telling me like, hey man, you keep showing up, you're gonna like earn your spots and earn your keep. And I kind of just took that and ran with it, and kind of just like took it step by step, got to where I was now.
Yeah, and that process, because I'm sure it was a challenging process too, because you got a new quarterback that came in, in terms of you're coming in new as well. So a lot of the center focus of the offense is brand new. We had new coaches coming in as well. So how was that transition and being or going through that process? Because I feel like while I was here, Ian Book was a veteran quarterback. Coach Kelly was a veteran coach, and then also just the talent we had around have been here for a minute. And I'm sure you're going through this now in terms of just like having to gather the guys, having to establish not necessarily a new culture, but like try to add your own little flavor to the existing culture. How was that transition for you and just the rest of the group that came in fall camp, and then after that, how has it been for you coming in to this situation?
Yeah. I'd say mine was a little tougher. In my high school, we weren't really known for football, so my IQ wasn't really up there. And I played quarterback and safety in high school, so I really had no wide receiver knowledge.
Just balling.
Yeah,
you were just balling.
I was like, right around the field. So I'd say it was kind of like I started from the bottom, whereas the guys coming in my grade were kind of like I already had that kind of knowledge from high school. And so I had a lot of catching up to do. And so that's where when I started running routes, like I look at the playbook and I just see lines on the playbook. I'm like, I go out there and just follow the line and run it and just be completely wrong because I'm not reading anybody. I'm just doing my own thing. And I got reamed a couple of times for it. But I'd say throughout that process, like guys in my grade, along with like Sam and the older guys on the whole offense, they helped me progress and kind of learn that. So I kind of caught up with everybody. And then as a unit, we all went up together. And that was huge. I mean, Sam's leadership was great. Riley's leadership's going to be great. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, without the older guys too, I would not be where I am today. Like their leadership and stuff was such a help, and being able to ask these guys questions as you're coming back from a play, or if they wanted to give me a critique because I'm coming back to the huddle on something that they didn't like just those quick fixes just allowed the team to progress as a whole.
Yeah, for me coming in, obviously it's kind of a different situation, right? There's a lot of expectations. You come in last year, a lot of people think, people saying first round pick, oh, he's going to go in the first round. Boom, snap the ankle, you hit rock bottom. You come in limping. I think I came in like on crutches or something like that. You're like, holy cow, how am I going to live up to all these expectations? I feel like I have so much to do. Get here, and my immediate thought is like, how can I help? Like this isn't a team that needs to be carried by any means. This is a team that just needs, a couple places to be filled. I was like, how can I help? How can I help you on the field, off the field, whatever it may be? Let me be of service to you guys and be a servant leader, right? That was my mindset, and I did a good job of that. Got here first week, and they tell me I need to get surgery on my ankle. So kind of all types of emotions. But I think I did a really good job of establishing a relationship with every single player off the field, because I wasn't able to get those reps and be able to show people like how competitive I am and that I can lead this team. on the field.
That's an interesting point of view too, because you talked about the expectations, and you got a taste of just the Notre Dame expectation, to where I would say maybe at Duke, and obviously Duke had a great season, but I would say the expectation isn't necessarily as high for the football team, to where it's like you can compare Duke basketball expectations to Notre Dame football expectations, right? From the media, from the fan base,
Yep.
and even just within the building, within the locker room. It's national championship or, nothing. So adding that expectation to it, and I'm sure you already started to get a little taste of it. You talked about the media being at the airport and those different things. But now, and then the last year first round expectation, how have you been able to manage that personally?
Yeah, personally, it's something it took a couple years to learn, right? Kind of couple years starting quarterback, started off like listening to so many different things. Number one, I have a Twitter account. It's not on my phone. Stay off Twitter. It's the number one advice I can give young guys. Like, everybody's got an opinion, and half the time, I'll read it. What are we talking about here?
You're right.
I keep my life as simple as possible, right? So I have a girlfriend of 7 years. You look at my phone, you're gonna see like 0 text messages unless my mom, one of my teammates, somebody hits me up. That's really in my corner. I don't get distracted by anything off the field. So all these expectations, all these things around me, I feel like I kind of have like a border around me that protects me from all that, and then I'm just able to be me. The biggest thing is definitely my faith. After going through all these ups and downs, freshman year, don't think I'm ever gonna play a snap of college football, to end up starting week 7. I went from scout team on week 5 or 6 to starting in week 7 my freshman year. Played terrible, by the way. It was so bad. I was terrible. Sophomore year, ball out. Junior year, back down, rock bottom after the injury and whatnot. But through all that, like, my faith is easily what's gotten me through everything. Like, I always think, like, what I try not to live in hypotheticals. So like, whenever something bad happens to me, I take the best out of everything. So like, this happens to me, I'm like, all right, maybe this is a good thing. Whenever this first originally happened, and now I'm at Notre Dame, so it's like, I'm a very optimistic person, and a lot of that stems from my faith.
Mm-hmm. And I want to know how much of you being able to express your faith, and obviously having, because personally, individually, you can express your faith, you can express your beliefs, but also just going to a university that allows you to express that, allow you to have someone like Father Nate, who's text away, or even maybe possibly just in the building, just walking around watching practice. Having someone like that, and just multiple people around campus like that are able to help you grow in your faith and help you express your faith. Like, how much did that help you in your decision as well?
Dude, so much. I mean, walking to class every day, you look up, you see a mural of Touchdown Jesus. As a Christian, you can't ask for much more. Just to be surrounded by so many like-minded people as you. And I'm a guy who enjoyed, my time at Duke, because it was a little bit more, progressive in their values and in their faith, versus Notre Dame is very like conservative in their values and in their Christianity faith. And I'm the same person, wherever I go. I have no problem speaking up about God, wherever I say God, Jesus Christ. I noticed that whenever you say God in the interview, that's okay, but like, people accept that more, but I try to say Jesus Christ in my interviews and shout him out. But yeah, everywhere I go, I'm the same person. So.
Mm-hmm. And back to that expectation really quick for Notre Dame lacrosse. You're coming in off of a national championship season, coming in off with some hype from the football season. So it probably wasn't, because I know some of the guys on the team, like the Kavanaughs, and those are our great guys. But what was it like for you going into that role, knowing that who they recruited is a little different now? Like, this kid is a little bit more popular, got a little swag to him from the season, all those different things, a little bit hype behind his name. Obviously, the football team, pushing that some, and then lacrosse team leaning into that. Was there any of the, I guess, like now you can relate it to like Caitlin Clark, how it's like she's coming into the league, they're bumping her around, playing tough, all those different things. Was there like any of that to be like, okay, like you got to prove to us that you belong on this field, you belong on this team or anything like that?
Yeah, I wouldn't say at all. I mean, the lacrosse guys, that community in general was just so accepting and so supportive of just everything. Um, I didn't even know some of the guys on the team before I even got there when I was here playing football, and they were watching the game, celebrating. I'm getting texts from some of the guys I didn't even know at the time, like congratulating me on the touchdowns and stuff. And it just goes to show how like the family and the brotherhood that you have here. And even when I got to the lacrosse field, I had a little break after our bowl game in El Paso, and I get there and I haven't picked up a stick in a couple months, and I'm throwing the ball terrible. Like I can't even see the ball. Like it's like a whole new sport for me at that time. And these guys could easily been like, oh, like he's supposed to be lacrosse playing football. Like why would we even want to play with this kid? Like he's trash. Like, but no, none of the kids were like that. They were like, we understand. Like you've been playing football, and we're gonna help you any way we can. And from that point on, I was just extra work with them, chilling out with them, just everything as a whole. And the culture over there too is just insane. I mean, the smallest details they'll harp on, no matter who you are or where you come from. And that kind of thing kind of builds a team, and it kind of shows you like what kind of standard you got to be held to and kind of the expectations they have for you. And if you're not meeting those, I mean, you're going to hear from somebody. But those guys just being so supportive throughout the entire process, like coaches and staff alone, like that's a big help. But having my teammates actually support me is a whole other world. And that's just been huge for my whole time here so far at Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's just to add off that, like when I was in the training room getting treatment or whatever on my injuries this spring, every time I walked in with like a lacrosse kid, he was asking, "Hey, how you doing?" And I was, conversating with these guys. They obviously had busy schedules, but they were in the training room with us, for countless hours over the spring. And dude, they got a different culture, man. They really good dudes. You can tell how tight they are. And yeah, just to go off what he says, I mean, there's a reason they won the national championship.
Yeah, I want to dive into the two sports because you play basketball. You were heavy into basketball, and then obviously you still do play two sports. Growing up, we'll start with you 1st, but growing up, how did you decipher between, I want to be a football player or I want to be a lacrosse player? Because I would just say, like, being black and just within our community, lacrosse isn't huge. And and your dad coached football. So it's like you said you were born playing football, those different things, and then you switch over to, lacrosse being another sport for you, where it's like spring for me, I ran track. Yeah. Like it wasn't no lacrosse. I actually played lacrosse my senior year because I was tired of track. And being a DB and playing lacrosse is fun. Like I played only defense. Like I would run out as soon as we got the ball, but I loved it because it was literally you were like able to be a little bit physical, slide your feet, and then it's just like some bros. Like you playing the game. So that was cool. But how did you get into the sport of lacrosse, knowing that, especially like I feel like our culture, our community pushes basketball, pushes football, all these other sports, and not lacrosse being one of them?
Yeah. So I say it begins with where I'm from. I mean, South Florida is a very diverse area, so there's no really like split between sports and who should be playing sports or what certain sports. And my lacrosse journey kind of started. It was after like a little 8-year-old football, like pee-wee football game. One of my boys had a practice right after. He was like, "You should come over and just pick up a stick and throw it around." I was like, "All right." So I go over there, I start just throwing the ball around. The coach was like, "Yeah, just come out, play with us, see if you like it or not." And then since then, I've just loved the sport ever since. And I think a lot of people see the sport as, oh, it's like a white person sport, a higher class kind of sport, and that's the wrong image. Like I've never seen such a wronger picture for a sport like in my life. Like going through the entire process, dudes are cool, and the sport as a whole is just, it goes with like every other sport, like exactly with football, DB, playing defense. And I don't think people realize that. They just kind of see it as like a soft sport that you pay to get to where you want to be, and that's just so wrong. And I think more people need to see that, and it's coming out as the sport's growing more and more. But yeah. What
have you taken from lacrosse that helped translate to the football field?
Oh, a lot of stuff. I mean, footwork in general. I mean, any sport with footwork, it's gonna be compatible with any sport. But being able to dodge and having to read a slide that's coming to you is the same as if you're in a slot. You're head up with a nickel back. You got to see a safety coming over and where you're running your route off of and stuff like that. And I mean, the things just go so hand in hand that it becomes second nature, and it's been a big help.
Yeah, you've been in the playbook. I see that. I see you. You know what you're talking about now. And then for you, for basketball, I mean, you were deep into basketball. I just actually recently just saw your highlights because there was that whole thing going around, could football players play basketball or play in the NBA, NFL players play in the NBA and all those different things.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
I just seen someone posted your highlights, and did you get dunked on? Was that a highlight?
He might have been dunked in.
I remember getting dunked
Or
on.
no, it
Oh, no,
might have
you
been
If I
a
got
did, I
hung.
wouldn't admit
Did
it.
you get hung?
Oh,
something with
I
dunking.
post that clip sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't like to post my highlights, so I'll post my like lowlights and me just getting hung and landing on my back.
But for you, basketball, where did that take off? Because Alabama is a football state. I feel like.
Yeah, it's a big football state, and like I played every sport growing up. I actually never touched a lacrosse stick until I went to your game, and this little kid had one on the sideline, and I was trying to flick it back to him. I didn't know what I was doing, but dude, basketball was like my first love. Kind of is like up there with football. I'm not gonna say I like it more than football, but it's definitely up there. Everybody from my hometown, like if you ask them about me, I feel like they're gonna respond like, oh, the basketball player. Like even to this day, like people just know me as a basketball player. Loved it. Was gonna play in the EYBL after my junior season, and hopefully pick up like a bunch of basketball offers. Like my ratio from basketball college coaches to football coaches is probably like 10-1, maybe even more. Basketball to football. So like my whole deal is, dude, I'm gonna play basketball. I'm in the EYBL and pick up a bunch of offers and go play basketball. Well, the COVID hits, that gets shut down, and by the grace of God, my quarterback coach back home played for Coach Cutcliffe, who was at Duke, and he ended up offering me for football, and I was like, yeah, I guess I'll go play football. But yeah, my plan was to go play hoops.
Mm-hmm. Is that Peyton Manning's coach?
Yeah.
Okay. So, because I feel like a lot of quarterbacks, like Daniel Jones, try to not necessarily follow that, but it's always just like, why does this kid go to Duke? And it's like, oh, Peyton Manning, quarterback coach is there, How much did that play into, like, how much has he helped your development or anything like that?
Yeah, so he lives in Birmingham now, and we played our bowl game in Birmingham, and I was injured at the time, but I was able to go see him. He's like one of my favorite people that I've ever met in my life. He was Peyton's coach, Eli's coach, obviously Daniel Jones' coach, my quarterback coaches. He coached my quarterback coach back at Ole Miss, and like everything, like on the field, off the field, doing the right thing, like at all times. He taught me all of these lessons. I probably came into college and didn't really know how to become a man. After that freshman year, I knew, all about that.
That's good. So now, obviously, this is the summer training portion of the whole off season, I guess, ramping up before camp, and so schedules have been out for a little while now. Are there any, I guess, opponents or just matchups that you're excited for? I guess the elephant in the room is you going back to play against Elko. I kind of thought of that when I was asking the question, but you can touch on that one as well. But are there any for you that you're looking forward to?
Nah, not really. I mean, I wouldn't hype up any specific opponent. I mean, we want to have a successful season and kind of progress as a team to reach our full potential. And it's kind of just the thing I've learned from my high school coach, that it's just respect, all fear none, no matter who you're going against. Whoever's in front of you is going to be a good opponent. So.
Yeah, great answer. Great answer. For me, like, obviously, A&M, it's going to be a good one. Want to play in Yankee Stadium. Like, dude, I feel like at the same time, like, we're still, like, 20 years old, 21 years old. Like, that's sick. I want to go play in, at USC, and then we play MetLife Stadium. We play in Atlanta, and, whatever, the Falcon Stadium.
Yeah.
Like, all these things are really cool for me. Obviously, I treat every opponent the same, prepare the same. But yeah, there are some cool spots that we're going to hit this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like that kind of just speaks to just the opportunities that you get going to Notre Dame, because I'm sure you've probably done some lacrosse things that a lot of programs don't get to do in the lacrosse, field. And then in terms of football, it's like, especially with the whole conference, realignment and everything, it was like one thing that I loved about Notre Dame was we got to see different opponents, the different styles of play. So 1 week, like you said, we could go play LSU or USC. Yeah. You get a Pac-12 or Pac-10 offense, air raid, all that stuff. But then you get to go play complete opposite, like a Navy. Sure. But you also get to play an ACC team. That's going to be a little bit more balanced and things like that. So that's why I love Notre Dame and looking at those things. But I will say you've been here for a little bit. You've been here for a little over a year now. But speaking to that, what is one thing that has stuck out to you about Notre Dame so far since you've been here?
In the facility, everybody is here to win a national championship and then make it to the NFL. Obviously, this is a huge academic school, but everybody in the Goog facility and on our team is like going in for extra work. I think JC hit this on your podcast, and I texted him. I was like, bro, this is so true. Everybody's going in for extra work.
I love
and
that
it's
you
all
watch the podcast.
yeah, and it's for a purpose, right? So like everybody, like it's people aren't going in for like bonus points, for whatever. Like people are going in to win a national championship and then potentially make it to the league. So like everybody here is like super professional.
And I was, same question with you. It could either be from lacrosse experience or football experience. What's that one thing that has stuck out to you so far?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest stick out that's been so far is just the fan base of Notre Dame. Like when I was going through my recruitment process, like sort of for lacrosse, where it was before football, I was like kind of looking at schools. Notre Dame was never on my like list. I didn't think about it. And then when I came here and like committed, I was like, oh, okay, like this might be the spot. But after playing in front of all these fans, like kind of interacting with the fans after football games, lacrosse games, I mean, it's great. Like you got diehard people who just love the Irish. There's so many connections and everything in that 4 for 40 thing that like that's real. And you kind of see it, kind of like meeting all these awesome people.
So some fun questions. South Bend, ton of food options, of course.
Ooh.
I'm going to take this food option so it's off the table, but I'm going to say favorite pizza is Rocco's. What are some food spots that you guys go to?
All right, I'll hit 3.
Hey.
Mission Barbecue, Polito's is my favorite pizza, and then
Toledo's.
oh yeah, a lot of people don't know about
I
it.
haven't heard of that one.
I haven't been to Rocco's yet, so
You got to try it.
yeah, and then Roars on campus, dude. It's money.
Would you get the discount?
No, is there a
I didn't even know
discount?
about the discount.
No.
You got to, if you tell them you're a student, then you get like a student discount or whatever.
Perfect, because I'm
Yeah.
going tonight, so.
Yeah. Hopefully they still got that, but yeah, when I was here, we go in and you just tell them you're a student, then you get like a little discount.
Sweet.
I don't know if this counts. It's in Mishawaka, but I'm gonna count it as being
It
South
count,
Bend.
yeah.
Breakfast spot that we've been to is Pegs. They got this fried chicken and waffles, so good, and they got the cinnamon roll, and I love cinnamon rolls. And then I love hibachi too, so Kodo spot. Love that spot. Spend a lot of money. It's a little expensive, but it's worth the food.
I've never been there.
Great spot.
Ooh, okay. Pregame. Is there a pregame song that you always go to? I feel like for me, I always like set it up to where leaving this, you got to leave. I set it up in like 3 different parts. Leaving the stadium, and then like arriving, and then like getting off the bus. I feel like it's a little different stage, and then like warming up before you go out. So I feel like leaving the hotel, I always started with gospel because it was too early in the clock to get ramped up and all those different things. So did the gospel coming in, and then when I got off the bus, I would go a little bit faster rap. I would mix in some Drake, mix in some of that stuff, and then right before like the very last song, so you can do last song before you go out, was another gospel song, and it was called. It was a Mary Mary song, and so I would always play that. It was like, go get your blessings. That's kind of, sounds way better by them, but that was like my very last song that I would always play before I got out on the stadium. So y'all might not have like the 3 stages, but definitely give me some genres, and then that last song that you, if it is always the same one that you play before you go out.
Yeah, I'll start like on game day. It's whatever like I feel like doing. I'm not gonna force anything. So like, if you ask me, like, if you see me on game day this year and, like, you ask me, like, what I'm listening to, I guarantee it's a completely different genre every time just because, like, I just hit shuffle on the playlist, whatever. I don't really care. Like, I go 60s a lot, reggae, country. Don't really listen to rap too much. Rock and roll, like, literally everything. But before I run out, I always listen to Amazing Grace. So that's right before I go out.
Nice.
Yeah, off the rip, I'm going hard. Like Meek Mill, Drake,
so like
Lil Wayne.
If there's like an 8 o'clock game at night, like when you wake up at 9 a.m. or whatever.
All day. Shower. I'll do a shower before breakfast. rap, straight rap.
Rap?
Yeah. On the bus.
Who's the best rapper of all time?
Oh, that's a crazy.
Yeah, I don't know about
question.
it. You can't be on the spot like that.
That's a loaded question. Yeah.
But yeah. Meek Mill is definitely a top one. Dreams and Nightmares, obviously. And then pregame, out on the field warming up, I don't listen to music. I just my thoughts. So that's really it.
That's an interesting take. I feel like I always had to have the music, especially. I got a question for y'all. You haven't experienced yet, so kind of for you. Home games or away games? What do you like? Or you too though, but what do you like more?
Nah, that's a good question. I kind of felt both out. I mean, there's obviously like the villain aspect of going into an away game. Everyone's flicking you off and stuff, talking trash, and I think that gives you more of an incentive. Like you want to play more, and then home is also very fun. I mean, having everybody. I say away games because away games get you going.
Yeah, for me it's like in game. In game I like to be away, but like outside the game, like you got all your family there, and like if you play an away game, you're maybe 5 minutes you get to say hey to them, then you gotta fly back. So like before and after the game, obviously home, but like during the game for sure away.
How much NCAA are y'all gonna play this off season? End season?
Yeah, a ton. Like I said, we're like 21, 20 years
exactly,
old. Like,
right.
who doesn't want to play with themselves in a video game?
Yeah.
Right.
How when you, because I'm sure all the conversations and everything, y'all are part of those conversations to be a part of the game. How excited, are you for that game to come out and not, it'll be cool for y'all to play, as each other and do all those different things. But think about like family and, friends and, people coming up after you that look up to you, talk about fans and all those different people. Like, how excited are you for that moment and for all that stuff to come out?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I need a console first for like, I can't even play. Like, I don't have I don't have like an Xbox or PS, but I need to get one. But yeah, you can go on the.
Yeah, now my friends already text me like when it comes out, we're gonna play with you, and if you're trash, we gonna let you hear about it. And I don't even have anything to say to that. I'm like, you're the one playing. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Play.
Yeah,
yeah,
right. People ask me my rating and stuff. Like, I don't know. We have no
idea,
say in this, but
yeah.
Hopefully above an 80. I always tell people, like, if I'm above an 80, I'm chilling.
Praying.
Chilling. Give me above an 80.
I think rating reviews should be something that a program should do. I think that'll be kind of funny and kind of cool. I hope I'll be looking forward to those.
Yeah.
Those things. If you guys do those, that'll be fun.
Yeah. Who would give themselves a 99 on the team?
J-Mick.
J-Mick, yeah. J-Mick, 100%.
He has to be confident, though.
Oh, most confident.
At that position, you have to be confident.
In everything he does.
Yeah.
Dancing, ping pong.
Everything.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How has it been going against some of the DBs we do have? Last year obviously Cam Hart, and then Ben Morrison as well. But like being able just to see some of those guys in practice, Xavier, and to go up against them, day in and day out. And obviously you see the accolades that they're getting, but you're also seeing them on a daily basis. Like you see the work that they put in from the weight room to the film room to the field and things like that. So for a receiver and then also, for a quarterback, how is it to see the opposing, teammates, but how is it to see them in practice each and every day, working on their craft, but also helping you get better at yours?
Yeah. I mean, the first 5 games of the season, I was running scout team. So I'm playing against BMO, Cam, all those guys, and it developed my game so much. And then those guys also, like, they take care of you. Like, they see what you're doing, and, like, they'll tell you, like, oh, this will work here, this will work. Even though I'm giving them a look, they're still telling me, trying to develop my game. And then when Cam was here, like, after practice, I'd go one-on-one with him and just working on my releases and stuff. And just that stuff develops you so much. And those older guys having that care for you and kind of showing that support is just huge.
Yeah, speaking of that, like, the one-on-ones, like, our DBs just beg us all the time to go one-on-ones. Like, we'll finish a throwing session, and they're just sitting there in the corner. Like, we threw on Saturday. J-Mick's sitting there in the corner howling at us like a werewolf or something, just begging us to go one-on-one. So, like, they're a super competitive group and, like, always ready to work.
Oh, that's good. A couple more questions. I would say favorite spot on campus.
I say the lake for sure. Right outside the grotto. And when I first got here, I was a little homesick, I'd say. Very different coming from South Florida to the Midwest. And that was a spot that kind of reminded me of home, and like having the water kind of reminded me of the beach, and that was just a great spot for me.
So they built out a walkway and everything too.
Yeah, it was like a little dock kind of thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I'm a big time, I like to fish, so I made a fish trap whenever I got here. With my ankle up there, making a big old fish trap out of like chicken coop wire. So yeah, we've caught a couple, and yeah, it's a good spot.
Yeah, that's a country. That's Alabama in you right
Yeah,
there.
a little bit.
100%. Fish trap.
No, but I'm excited to obviously see what you guys do on the field, but having an opportunity to be able to connect with you guys on a deeper level than just being shooting you a text or shooting you a tweet, DM, all those different things, and watching you on the field is unique, and I always enjoy those experiences because now I get to know who you are. It's always a difference. Being able to cheer for you on a Saturday when you know a little bit more about the person, and so that's what I hope to give the fans with these episodes and with these interviews, to where make you a little bit more relatable. Because you're gonna drop passes, you're gonna I'm not gonna say interceptions, but you're gonna throw in completions.
Sure.
And those things happen, but it's just like, all right, like the work that this kid's putting in, who he is as a person, his values, all those different things. You may lay off a little bit easier, the first time.
Yeah.
So that's why I always enjoy these interviews, and I appreciate your time. So appreciate you both taking the time to pull up and jump on the Varsity House podcast. So I'm your host, Sean Crawford. This is my guest to my left, Leonard, and Jordan Faison. So appreciate you both coming on, and excited to see what you do this year. And try Rocco's.
Rocco's,
Try
yeah.
Rocco's. You say you ain't try Rocco's? Have you tried Rocco's?
I know, try Rocco's.
Yeah, you gotta try Rocco's.
Yeah.
You gotta try Rocco's.
There we go.
But and then let me know y'all reviews.
Alrighty,
Yeah.
we will.
Appreciate y'all.
So I appreciate you.
That was awesome.
Sweet.
That is amazing.